Good morning, and thank you for joining us on After GMS. It is 7:45 on Tuesday, January 11th. Can you believe that?
How is it the 11th already?
Oh,
It was just New Year's.
It was just Christmas.
10 days ago, we were just welcoming the first day of the year. Man, time flies, but we're having fun, right? I'm Tracy McCain here with Megan Malaris. We have meteorologists Ed Matthews and Christian Morgan, the M team, as we call it.
Yes.
M as in number one.
Yes.
M is now the first letter in the alphabet.
Exactly.
Exactly, but there's no M in snow, and that is what you are tracking possibly this weekend.
Yes, and we say possibly with many, many asterisks beside of it because we can't really nail down all the details yet, which of course we'll talk about here coming up in just a couple minutes. Right now, it's a beautiful, cold morning though, as you look across Greensboro this morning, starting out of the Gate City in the mid and upper 20s. 27 right now in Greensboro, upper 20s all across the board, 28 Winston-Salem, 27 Asheboro, 26 Lexington, 25 in Reedsville, and 23 up in Martinsville, Virginia. Check it out, 17 degrees in Galax, Virginia, 18 in Boone. And we still have a bit of a breeze this morning too, so that's making it feel a little colder than it actually is, feeling like the low 20s, even teens in some places when that wind is gusting around 20 miles per hour. High pressure in control of our weather, starting to nose in from the north. That brings in all of that cooler air that we have. But over the course of the week, this high starts to move offshore a bit. It still will control our weather though, so high and dry and sunshine will be the order of the rest of the work week. Now, as we get later into Thursday and into Friday, there will be a bit of a backdoor cold front from the north that tries to drop in here, and it will be successful, but you won't really notice it because it won't bring any rain with it. That one will cross the area dry, just kind of brings us back, cools us back down a little bit, and that will set the stage for what we could have this weekend. Now, I'm just going to show you one model run right now because there's a lot of disagreement and things are kind of all over the place right now, which is why we can't really nail down all the details on that. But this one specific model does bring that storm system and develops it over the Carolinas late Saturday into the day on Sunday and carries it throughout the day on Sunday. Now, of course, we're still in this 5 to 7 day range. So when we talk about winter weather forecasting or snow forecasting, especially here in North Carolina, there's a lot that goes into it. Everything has to line up just right. So in this stage of the game, 5 to 7 days out, we're really watching the trends on this, okay? We're watching all the model runs, noticing what the system is doing, how it may evolve, and is it trending more likely? Is it trending less likely? I can tell you now it's trending a little more likely, like this storm system will develop over the Carolinas. Now, of course, there's still uncertainty whether or not this would be an all-snow event, whether it would be a rain then snow event, whether it would be a mixed event, or whether it would be just an all-rain event. It just depends on how the system evolves, how it develops, how it sets up. And of course, I don't think cold air this time around, though, will be the issue. So still too early to nail down details like exact timing, evening, amounts. So my suggestion to you is just to keep checking back, because I promise you we're going to keep you updated on this, okay? We're going to have all the details for you. For today, though, it's just a boring January day of weather, sunshine and cold. Bundle it up, upper 30s for the afternoon. Tonight, clear and cold, back into the low 20s, and the next few days are pretty much the same story. Although we do warm up a little bit, 30s today, 40s tomorrow, 50s on Thursday. Then that front slides by, we're back in the 40s on Friday, and even colder than that over the weekend. And that will be the cold air locking in place for what could be a winter system over the weekend. Of course, we'll keep you updated on that.
Well, there are winter weather fans, Carol included, who's normally on our feed, hoping for a second round of snow this weekend.
But you're going to have to keep your fingers crossed if you are hoping for that chance, because it is at this point only a chance. For all the reasons that meteorologist Christian Morgan just laid out for you, the timing is so important here.
All right, so Christian, you tweeted this morning, quote, "You may come across some crazy snowfall maps on social media today with zero context. Actually, I could bet money you will. Keep scrolling. Keep in mind we still have a lot of time and loads of uncertainty about a winter storm in the Carolinas this weekend," end quote.
Are you referring to a specific feed?
There are many specific ones that I could point to. But this is that time of the year, no matter what you follow, it seems to always come up on the social media feed. Somebody's posting a model snowfall map. Actually, just a few minutes ago, there was one that was posted with zero context. And it said, hey, this is calling for a big storm. And there's a lot that goes into it. Like we don't make our snowfall maps just based on what one model says. There's a lot that goes into it. And I'll tell you, and Ed probably can touch on this too, there are so many factors about where we live and how things have to line up just right that the models never accurately portray that. There's always some sort of warm air layer that kind of gets kicked in and kind of throws kinks in things. And usually our snow tends to be a little bit wetter snow than the models lead on to, and that can cut down on totals as well. And really at this stage in the game, we are so far out. We're not even close to laying down numbers on anything. We still don't even really know the timing of this yet. So to put out a snowfall map or to start saying totals or even to nail down exact timing is honestly irresponsible. So I don't want people to see that and really kind of take that to the bank and take that home with them and plan on it being, a massive snowstorm this weekend, because that really is just not the case. Now, there is potential, if it does pan out that way, that it could be a pretty decent snow producer for several folks, whether it be in North Carolina or possibly even in South Carolina as well. But we just do not know the details on that and cannot make any guarantees yet.
And if you grow up in the Triad, listen to Ed. Just listen to Ed Matthews.
Oh boy, I tell you what, I have seen so many snowstorms in my lifetime, and it just seems like it's a learning process from every winter weather situation that we have. And a point that I want to make about social media, you do not have to be a degree meteorologist to post a model run or a model data or graphics or things like that. And some people that don't even know how to read those maps are posting those on social media because they see the area and they see snow and it's like, well, it must be gonna snow. So when we post something, we always, put in the writing, in the paragraph there, this is what we're looking at. If it's far out, it's not certain, and so on and so forth. But, people just throw things on social media. You got to pick out what's true, what's believable, and what is not. Now, here's the deal on this situation. In the South, because we're in the South and it doesn't snow very often, we jump on the bandwagon of even the mention of snow in a 7-day forecast. This system is over 3,000 miles away. It's off the west coast of California and Washington and Oregon. It hasn't even moved on shore. That's problematic because there are not many weather balloons that are launched out over the ocean. Once it moves inland, probably later tomorrow, we get all this weather balloon data to be fed into the computer models. Christian and I are hoping that these models start kind of coming together and agreeing a little bit. But remember, this thing is a great distance away, and I understand that our viewers want to know what's going to happen on Saturday and Sunday. And Christian is right. We don't know. But we feel pretty confident that it's going to snow somewhere, and it does look as though it's going to be cold enough to be snow. We've been talking about rain or snow. It looks like it's going to be plenty cold. It does look this morning that whatever the models are giving us right now, this far out, it does tend to look like it's slowing down. The event may not happen until Sunday. Saturday could potentially turn out to be dry. But again, the point that I want to make, this system is a great distance away. We got to get it over land so we can launch those weather balloons. That's done by the National Weather Service, and the spacing of those stations that launch weather balloons are about 100 miles apart. Now, quite frankly, meteorologists would like to have a lot more weather balloons launched every day, but that's not the case. It costs a lot of federal tax dollars. But it's crucial to these models being on track with what's going to pan out.
Joanne pointed out her son is visiting from Washington State, where there are 21 inches of snow on the ground and more on the way. So certainly whatever we're expecting this weekend is going to be nothing compared to that. But we've seen what just a few inches can do. Thankfully, you all are forecasting this on a weekend, so we won't have to worry about children getting to school, getting from school safely, although if that were to refreeze potentially on Monday, then we'll be talking about those factors, I'm sure, Christian.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And of course, like Ed mentioned, the storm's not even over land yet. It hasn't really even developed yet. So I can tell you, Ed and I were kind of laughing at some things this morning as we were looking at a lot of the data early before the show started. Last night there was a run, both runs of two pretty reliable models that we like to use. I won't go off into the weeds here too much, but two reliable models that we use in the weather community. And both of them last night were really letting on to this. Then one this morning looked really great, and the other one had us completely dry, like there was no storm ever to form. So there's a lot of ups and downs at this stage in the game. And honestly, a part of it is just because of where we live in our geography. It is so hard to get snow. Everything just has to line up just right, almost perfectly for it to happen. Of course, like you said, it is trending more to be a weekend system, and right now it looks like it maybe would be trending to be a late Saturday, more of a Sunday system. Of course, that'll change. But if we have it over the weekend, it of course causes less concern for school and for work for many people. So might be best case scenario if it really does come to fruition.
Mm-hmm. Well, at this point, we're not even talking measurements.
Oh, no.
So we don't really know, right? So one, there is just a chance at this point, and then even if it is confirmed that there's a chance, we still don't need to talk about snow totals or anything like that. So I was just thinking about a comment that I just read from someone who said that they're already out of food at the grocery stores. I'm like, oh Lord, it begins.
Oh, wow.
I can make one guarantee, 100% chance. You will not see me in the grocery store over the next 7 days.
I'll second
I like those
that.
odds.
You will not see me in the grocery store this week.
Yeah. Well, those odds are better than the ones that we're looking at in terms of our forecast.
Because it's some sort of thing, if during the week, if there's even the mention of snow, if you see the weather guy, weather lady in the grocery store, then it's just like a mad rush on bread and milk, and we are not doing that.
Right. And someone follows you to your car and you have to call the police. I get it. We don't want any of those scenarios.
Ed is used to all those conversations in the bread and milk aisles, aren't you?
Oh yeah, I've done that before. I did that a long time ago in Harris Teeter just for the kicks of it. I put like 5 loaves of bread in my buggy and about 5 gallons of milk, and because I'm always talking to people. I know you find that hard to believe, but I just kind of moseyed around the Harris Teeter over at Friendly, and I went around the corner, and this sweet little old lady came around, and she looked at me, she looked in my buggy, and she looked back up, and she said, "Is it going to be that bad?" That's all she said. I thought it was funny. I was just playing around. But I totally understand. We just don't get snow much, and especially big snows. So people want to know what's going on so they can prepare way ahead. And I wish we could pin it down today. I would like nothing more than to be able to tell you exactly what's going to happen right on through the weekend. But quite frankly, it is impossible. Now, we get closer each morning on the Good Morning Show. Our confidence is going to build about what's going to happen. So, by Thursday, Friday, we're going to be feeling pretty good about what we think is going to happen for the weekend. But we're looking, as Christian showed on his graphic there, 5 to 7 days out for a snowstorm in North Carolina. That is a long time.
I mean, we don't even know what's going to happen in the next 5 to 7 minutes. Just joking.
Sometimes
It's
you're
anyone's
absolutely
guess.
right. Yeah.
Just joking. But we are getting some comments that are really interesting to read here. Gerald Hicks said he's praying for double digits. And so I responded, temperatures or snow?
I hope temperatures.
I hope temperatures too. I have a feeling he's talking about snow. Scott mentioned a big snowstorm in 2000 that I remember like it was yesterday.
Me too.
Like, I think we got a foot in Greensboro, but he said he remembered it a foot and a half in Asheboro.
I remember that.
Wow.
I remember sitting out. I remember I was at the house in Asheboro sitting in the sunroom watching it snow, and my dad brought home this big tractor from work, and it was wonderful. I made the biggest snowball I'd ever made in my life.
Yeah, and you know, talking about forecasting, and everybody wants to know, is it going to snow a half of an inch in my yard? Is it going to snow an inch or an inch and a half or whatever? Just like rainfall, you know, it's varied when you're talking about snowfall amounts, but we want to pin it down and get as close as we possibly can. That is just not easy to do. Now, the storm that I remember, let's go all the way back to the year 2000. It was in January. I can't remember the date, but me and my colleague at that particular time, and this was every meteorologist around blew this, and this storm has been studied and rehashed and you know, an opportunity to learn from our mistakes. I remember we forecast 1 to 2 inches of snow. We got 1 to 2 feet of snow. I remember, Christian, down in Randolph County, they called out the National Guard.
I remember it.
Yeah, I remember
And
that.
it was an area between the Triad and the Triangle that got dumped on.
Yeah.
I called one of our weather spotters over in Yadkinville, and I said, how much snow you got? What snow?
Wow.
So it was really in that corridor between the Triad and the Triangle. It was the biggest snow I've ever seen in central North Carolina.
It completely missed the mountains. I think it was, I'm trying to look it up here. I think it was the 24th and the 25th of January that year. And you're right, you know, Asheboro, Randolph County ended up picking up like 15 inches of snow, and then over towards the Raleigh area, you know, it was 20 inches on the order of almost 2 feet.
Yeah,
Wow.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was crazy, but we have learned from that. We go back, you know, it's so easy to forecast something after it's happened, you know, but we go back and that's been studied, and yeah, you can look that up on the internet, learn the track of the storm, how the models performed and all that, and we do that, you know. Forecasting weather is kind of like practicing medicine. The more you do it, the better you get at it. But you know, you got to learn from your mistakes as well. And that one in 2000, that hurt me. That hurt me because we, you know, blew the snowfall amounts, but so did everybody else. Didn't make me feel any better, but.
I don't think you blew it, Ed. I think the maps just, you know, something happened.
Ed said it was going to snow, and it snowed.
And it snowed.
And it snowed, and that's
Exactly.
the bottom line.
It did it.
And everybody had their supplies stocked, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so a lot of people are kind of split on this. Hearing a lot from Gerald, who says, who's just really wants snow. He's like, you know, the snow advocate on our feed at this moment. Conversely to that, we have Preston, who is all about spring, as I am. He said, meteorological spring, please. I also said, you know, who's missing spring? And he was like one of the first to raise his hand. Tyler Johnson said, we need snow. And Veronica said, I'll let y'all know if my big toes start to itch, because that's the way apparently she forecasts whether snow is coming.
That's verified, Veronica, yes. As a tried and tested measure, your toes.
Hilarious.
That's funny. Yeah, you know, from all the myths, you know, the persimmon spoons to the woolly worms. I mean, there are
verified a few of those.
Yeah, I have. There is some truth to some of those old wives' tales, the Farmer's Almanac ways to predict snow, but of course, nothing as accurate as our studied team of meteorologists giving you the real models and the real information.
Now, I use Ed's vacation calendar as a model because I know when he's gone, there's going to be some kind of weather here.
Ruthless.
Well, if we go on that, it probably won't do anything this weekend.
So if you want a big snowstorm,
I'm going to be right
you won't
here.
have to take vacation.
Yeah, I got to go out of town, and then, boy, we could get a blizzard.
Yeah, I used to have the same track with hurricanes, but that caught up with me. And now that we have just more and more and more of them, I can't really call it the way I used to. Bummer.
Well, this has been a really fun first conversation. This is certainly not the last. We'll be talking about this throughout the week, especially as the system gets closer. We do have our morning headlines to get to and then another talker. So let's get right to it. It is day 2 of a big switch for some Guilford County high school students who had to take shuttles, city buses, walk, or get car rides to classes yesterday. WFMY News 2's Denise McMiller takes a look at how day 1 went and what parents can expect moving forward.
Well, some of these school buses will stay parked because there aren't enough healthy drivers to operate them. Guilford County Schools is down nearly 170 bus drivers, partially because of COVID-19 and partially because there are many open positions. Guilford County Schools is making sure students get to school for free no matter what, but it just involves some students having to ride city buses or preset shuttle stops. Guilford County Schools has added shuttle stops to certain neighborhoods where a large number of high schoolers typically ride the school bus. There are a limited number of shuttles that school staff have volunteered to drive. We are still tracking down how many students are taking advantage of this alternative, but we do know that about 70 students rode city buses to school Monday. Guilford County Schools partnered with the city to allow students to ride city transportation for free with their one card. But one GCS mom says she would rather her son not ride the city bus.
That way I know he will get to school on time and he doesn't have to worry about, oh, I have to go downtown. I have to, read a schedule on Google Maps or to find out where's my bus stop or anything like that.
The Greensboro Transit Agency is doing its best to make the process as smooth as possible for students with signage and their Translock app students can download to track and map the best routes for them, while also taking safety seriously.
We recognize that there are perceptions out there about the safety of using public transportation, especially with children, but we emphasize the fact that we have professional drivers. We have cameras on the buses that record all the activities.
GTA and Guilford County Schools say they have not run into any issues using these new means of transportation that students are using to get to school. This is the first week, and this week many students are on block schedules, so we'll see the real test next week when students have their normal schedules.
Check your refrigerator right now. Food Lion has a recall for 2 in-store prepared salad kits because of listeria concerns. The brands are by Cobb and Chef's Salad. They would have a sell-by date of December 30th, 2021 or January 10th, 2022. The company says they should have been sold at all Food Lion locations. You can return the salad kits to your local store for a refund.
North Carolina has limited doses of monoclonal antibody treatments for patients fighting COVID. Cone Health tells us they get about 7 doses a day from the state, far fewer than the number of people who need the treatment. For example, on New Year's Eve, they received 643 referrals for patients seeking the antibody treatment, so they had to prioritize who they're able to treat. The decision whether to reinstate a mask policy for all of Guilford County could happen this week. County commissioners will meet this Thursday to go over the latest COVID data. A mask requirement is currently in place for parts of the county, but right now it only includes unincorporated areas, including Jamestown, Pleasant Garden, and Gibsonville. The mayors of Greensboro and High Point chose not to opt in.
College football has a new top dog, literally. The Georgia Bulldogs took down Alabama in the College Football National Championship last night.
The final score, 33-18. It's UGA's first championship in more than 4 decades, and they've got a long history of great football, so this is big. The game was played in Indianapolis, but 5,000 students watched from the school's basketball arena. This was the moment that sealed the win. You can see the excitement when Georgia got the interception, which was run back for a TD.
The team celebrated with the trophy, the flags, and of course, the confetti. And look at who was all smiles after the win. Tongue out and all, the team's Bulldog mascot, UGA, posed for pictures amid the, posed for pictures amid the celebration.
Some well wishes also coming in on the WFMY News 2 Facebook page. We'll hear from one person first, Mary Johnson, who said, "Congratulations, Georgia Bulldogs." Nice little emoji there. Sherry said, "Go Dogs," which is pretty common right now, especially if you're in Georgia.
Yeah, that's why Dana said "Go Dogs." She said the only time she'll say it is now. WFMY's Grace Holland is celebrating this morning. She is a Georgia graduate and was watching the game while wearing a shirt her dad had worn when he was a UGA student.
Yeah, she is a graduate from UGA. So is our producer Miles. They are very proud Georgia alum. So I'm sure we'll hear a lot about it today. I've never been to the school, but I have watched their games on television. You know, the SEC is probably one of the, I don't know, I want to say one of the better or best conferences for football, at least. And so you get a lot of excitement. Those fans are crazy about their football team, and the athletes, I mean, everybody just came in looking for the win, and Georgia just had a little extra in their belt.
Yeah, I remember when University of Missouri joined the SEC when I was still a student there, and I'm pretty sure Georgia was our first opponent, and we got creamed. I mean, it was not even a contest. We were in the big leagues now and had to figure out how to play to that level, but certainly it was fun to be part of that league. So last night when my husband came to bed and I woke up and he was so excited, he was like, "Georgia won." I was like, "Okay, you know, why are you excited about that? We root for Mizzou." He said, "Well, anybody who beats Alabama is a winner," because, you know, Alabama just has such a long history of winning.
So does Georgia.
So does Georgia, but, you know, so this year was all about the Dogs, and it sounds like it's an exciting day in Georgia.
I was really happy to see somebody other than Alabama win this.
See?
I'm going to be totally honest. I was. Not like Nick Saban, but I'm just saying. I'm not a hater. I'm just saying I was pulling for Georgia. I know a lot of happy Georgia fans too.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
All right, Ed, did you watch the game?
I did not. You know, it would have been a lot nicer if ACC team, specifically NC State, would have been in there. But, you know, I've always, you know, I've known about the Georgia Bulldogs, but have not really followed them in the past. But obviously they stepped up to the plate. And what is all this discontent with Alabama? I know they're usually up here on their little pedestal, so I guess it's okay if they get knocked off that pedestal and lose every once in a while. So I'm sure it was an awesome game.
Yeah, it's interesting seeing the pictures of the dog mascot earlier in the game. They showed him in his crate. He was totally not enthused at all. He's like, "This is my nap time. I should be in bed. Have been in bed a long time ago. Like, why is this taking so long?" And then after they won, he was fully rested and restored and ready to celebrate.
You know, the same family has been the responsible for the mascot's upkeep, you know, over the years. Obviously, they've had to have new Bulldogs, but it's been under the same family's care.
That's pretty neat.
Isn't that amazing?
That's cool.
I know. A little side note about that. I can't tell you much about the game, but I can know a lot about the mascot.
The important things.
Exactly.
All right, let's get a final check of our forecast. That's pretty important too. So is it fair to say that despite whatever happens, if we have plans on Sunday morning, we should be prepared to possibly change them?
Yeah, have a plan A, B, and C, okay? Yeah, we're just kind of getting you prepared right now. We've got your attention. We want to keep your attention right on through the rest of the week because confidence will build in what's going to happen each morning here on the Good Morning Show. You definitely want to wake up and and of course me and Christian will give you the latest of what we're looking at. And as we get closer to the weekend, we're going to zero in on things. Now today it's going to be dry and rather chilly. Upper 30s today. We're down into the low and mid 20s tonight. Upper 40s tomorrow. We may go into the lower 50s by Thursday, but the trend will be by Friday and especially the weekend for colder air to start to pour back into the Piedmont. So whatever precipitation moves in, we feel confident that it will likely be cold enough to be snow. But again, the jury is still out. So we'll watch it. And you see there, we're kind of going with a broad brush, 40% chance on Saturday and Sunday. I may change that before the noon show. I'm going to look at more model data this morning, but it's kind of trending to maybe a Saturday night during the day on Sunday event as things may be slowing down a little bit. But stay with us. We'll keep you updated.
Regardless, it's going to be cold.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Cold air will not be the problem this time around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe we can have meteorologist Christian Morgan out, seeing if it pelts him in his face again.
He's so good at those live shots. I mean,
Oh, come on, guys. He
I,
just did it.
I honestly wouldn't wish that on anyone. That was horrible, and I still feel bad for you.
I'll go play in the snow. I'll go play in the snow all day
Play,
long.
yeah.
But if hurricane force winds and pelting sideways rain, I'm okay.
So not
I'm
pretty.
okay if we don't.
Get a ski mask or something this time. Anything that would help.
Yeah.
All right, thanks so much for watching us on this extended but great conversation on After GMS about the weather and about the championship win last night for UGA. We'll have more great conversations as we get closer to a definitive forecast tomorrow on After GMS. We'll see you guys. Take care.